Welcome. In this tutorial, we will go over how to create a payroll report for multiple months using a BIS PPS current expense detail report. You can access this by logging into BAIRS, clicking on Financial Reports, going into your payroll folder, and then selecting the BIS PPS expense detail current report. Once in this report, what you can do is select multiple months. I think given the fact that 14-15 has limited data, we can actually go to 13-14 to be able to see a full year of data. You can select all months by either selecting them individually by holding Shift and going down to the bottom, or what I like to do is hit Control A and that'll select them all as well. I like to ignore the fund to be able to see beyond the general funds and see work study funds and any other funds that may have hit the department. And let's just select a department. So after you've added your department, run the report. And once in the report, you're going to get data that looks something like this. The issue with this data is it's not very user-friendly, and I think for the non-financial savvy, it's very difficult to navigate this report. So what I like to do is I like to take this data, either by going to Edit Copy or hitting Control-C, and then pasting it within Excel. And you can do this by right-clicking and clicking Paste or hitting Control-V. Once you have your data like this, that's all highlighted, what I like to do is go over, insert a pivot table, and from here you can actually start to set up your pivot. So what I actually like to do is drag over my month, so you can access that at the bottom. Put that in your columns. You can access payroll gross amounts, which is what you're going to want to look at. Since we don't have control over the benefits, that's just a derivative of your payroll. And then you can break it down by your employee first and last name. And you can also see DOS code, or description of service, which allows you to see overtime and a variety of other expenses. So as you can see here, this employee has regular pay. They have their premium overtime. Here's their vacation expense. And you can see more about the description of service codes in the handout on this accompanying page. So for the accounting period, or the month that you see here, this is going to correspond to July, August, 3 would be September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May, and June. And I typically like to just do some minor editing tweaks, so I like to select all. I try to put it into Arial. I personally am a fan of Arial. I know it's old school, but it's something I definitely enjoy. 10. One thing I like to do is freeze this frame so they can actually see these rows cascading through. Alt-WTFF will actually hold that, so now as you see when we scroll down, that remains there, and that frees the frame. I center this by just centering it. I select all the columns, double-click to be able to make sure they have enough space, and then I try to give it some title just by merging and centering it at the top. We can call this Monthly Payroll Report for Division XXX. And one other helpful thing that I like to do is make sure that if someone's going to print this, they can actually see these columns up on the top. So I go in by hitting Alt-PSP. I go into the sheet details, rows to repeat at the top, click on that, and I just select the rows at the top. So that sums up this report. Let me know if you have any questions. Other things you might want to do, look at the orientation, make sure it's landscape, size, legal is what I typically put it on, and for your width, you can just set it to page.